everybody. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday to you. It is Monday, March. Well, yeah, March 22nd, 2021. Wow, we're moving, and I think we're officially in spring. If you're in the United States, we're officially in spring. Now, what I usually do on Monday mornings at right around 10 o'clock, I was having a little bit of tech difficulty this morning, but right around 10 o'clock, I usually go live in my Facebook group, the Storytellers Growth Lab, and I'm actually live there right now as well. But what we've been doing this month is I've been doing what I call Monday morning motivations, and I've been highlighting quotes by women this month because this is Women's History Month, where there's a real focus on acknowledging and going through the achievements and the accomplishments of women. And so I've been sharing quotes by women of influence, women who've achieved amazing things. And so last week we shared something by Michelle Ruiz. I don't remember the quote that we shared by her. Actually, I'll share it again. Here it is. If people are doubting how far you can go so far that you can't hear them. So that was last week's quote by Michelle Ruiz. Now, this week's quote is by a woman who was the CEO of Yahoo for a while, and she's got a company now. Let me see if I can pull my information up and make sure that I've got it right. Yeah, so she's got a company now called Sunshine Contact, right? She was a CEO for Yahoo for quite a bit of time, and she's just about 45 years old, so relatively young person. And her name is Marissa Mayer. Maybe you've heard of her or not, but she said something, or she was quoted for saying something, and it really just inspired me, or it made me think about some of the different things that we don't do, right? And we don't do things quite often because of fear. And what are we afraid of? We're afraid of pain, right? We don't like being hurt. We don't like being out of our comfort zones. And so we kind of fall into this routine. And so what she said was, always do something you aren't a little ready to do, right? That's how you grow. Always do something that you aren't a little bit ready to do. I don't know if you've ever had this feeling. You kind of see something that you want to accomplish. You see something that you want to get after. You see something that you want to do, but you have this little fear, or this little feeling inside of you that says, I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet. I don't know if now is the time to do it. I don't know if that's the smartest or the wisest. I don't know if that's what happens. A lot of times we stay in the same position because we continue to question ourselves. We continue to try to rationalize so many different things. We continue to try to see if it lines up perfectly, or if other people affirm it, and because of that, we end up staying in the same position over and over again. Right? I remember the first time that I was at a camp, and I had learned how to swim, or we were doing swimming lessons at this camp, and as we were learning how to swim, at one end of the pool there was this diving board, and there were these kids that were jumping off the diving board into this deep end of the pool. That deep end of the pool was like about 12 feet or so. So they're jumping and they're laughing and they're cannonballing and they're doing a whole lot of stuff. And so I'm looking at them while we're taking our swimming lesson. And I'm saying, wow, that looks like so much fun. That looks like an amazing thing. That looks like something that I would love to do. So I learned how to swim a little bit, and I'm not that great at it just yet. I'm still have a little bit of fear. And I look at the diving board. I'm saying that doesn't look too bad. And so one day I decide that I'm going to go up on this diving board. And listen, it's one thing to look at a diving board or look at something when you're below it or when you're not on top of it. But I go to this diving board and I climb up the ladder to the back, from the back. And I get to the top of the diving board and I walk out And as I walk out, I begin to look down at the pool and I'm like, whoa, that looks far. That looks so much higher than I thought it was going to look from down there. Because I mean, you know, you're in the pool, you see people hopping off and it looks so easy. It looks so easy. It looks so great. They're like, yay. You know, these little kids, some little kids are 2 years old, 3 years old, and they're jumping off this big diving board and they're saying, yay. And you're saying, my gosh, that's not too bad. They're 2 years old. They're 3 years old. How bad could it be? And now I'm up on top of this diving board and I'm looking down and I realize that this 12-foot deep pool, or this area of the pool that's 12 feet deep, it's pretty far down, and the water's clear, or the water's pretty clear as far as pools go, and I can see all the way to the bottom. It looks far. It looks far. So I stand up there and I'm on the diving board, and as I'm standing there and I'm looking down and I'm trying to get my courage together, there are people coming up the diving board and they're like on line behind me. And this is not one of those wide diving boards where you can kind of turn around and say, oh, I changed my mind. If you change your mind, everybody's got to get off. They've got to climb back down this ladder, and and you would have to climb down doing this climb. You've heard of the walk of shame, right? You would have to do this climb of shame down the ladder. So I'm at the edge of this diving board and there's no way for me to turn around at this point. So I decide that I'm just going to take a deep breath, close my eyes, and jump in. So I do this. I bounce on the diving board for a few moments, and then I bounce and I jump off of the diving board, and I close my eyes and I hit the water. I feel the water. And I start to try to swim and paddle to try to get to something, right? And I'm not even sure where I'm going, but I come to the top of the water and I see where I am, and I find the closest wall. I'm not even looking for the stairs. I'm not looking for the handle. I don't care if they're on top of me. I don't care where it is. I'm finding the closest wall. So I swim to the closest wall possible. Right? I swim to the closest wall. How you doing, Mike Freeland? What's going on, Doc? And hey, Kevin Wayne Johnson, what's happening, my friend? You're an inspiration too, my friend. Yeah, love it. So I swim to the closest wall and I jump out and I get out of the pool. Now, to be quite honest, there were a couple of people that were looking at me and they were smiling and they were smirking a little bit because they knew what was going on, right? But the truth is, I went up, I jumped, and I swam back to the edge of the pool. That was something that I had not done before. That was something, I swam in the 12-foot end of the pool. I jumped off, I accomplished at least 2 or 3 things that I had not done the day before that. And if I were to pay attention to what other people felt, smirked about, or said sometimes, then I wouldn't be able to grow. I wouldn't be able to move forward. I wouldn't be able to do amazing things. I wouldn't be able to fulfill potential, right? I would not be able to maximize anything. So a lot of times in your life, you're going to feel like you're scared, or you're going to feel like you're not ready. I could have felt like I wasn't yet ready to dive off of that diving board. I was still fairly new in my lessons. I wasn't one of those kids that grew up swimming from birth and knew how to swim at 2 or 3 years old, right? I was probably 11 or 12 at this point. So I had to learn, and I wasn't that great at swimming at that point, but I still had to get the courage up to do something that I may not have been ready to do. So as Marissa says, always do something you aren't a little bit ready to do. That's how you grow. If you're sitting there and you're waiting until you feel ready, or you feel like things are perfect, or you feel like you're at the right space and the right place, then you're always going to either be behind others or be behind where you could be based on the dream that you have. You're always going to be a little bit scared. right? It's never going to be perfect. There's no such thing as being extremely lined up, the right exact fit, the perfect fit all the time. Do it scared. Do it scared, because that's how you grow. And this is according to Marissa Mayer. Listen, I hope that was helpful. I hope that was inspirational. I hope that was valuable for you this morning. And I'll be coming back every Monday morning, 10 a.m. to do Monday morning motivations. All right. And this is not just for you. This is for me as well, because I also need to hear messages of inspiration, messages of motivation. As Zig Ziglar said, motivation is like a bath. That's why we recommend it daily. All right. And so I want you to constantly seek out people, constantly seek out books, constantly seek out spaces that will inspire you to grow and to be better. Because when the time comes for you to experience something that may be a little bit challenging, those are the messages that you will have to depend on. If you're constantly dwelling on, or if you're constantly listening to, you're constantly inhaling negative messaging, right? That's why you got to be careful what you watch, what you read, what you do, who you hang around. If you're constantly inhaling negative messaging, when times of challenge comes, when times of challenge come, it's going to be harder for you to act or execute because you are used to negative messaging. But if you constantly focus, or you constantly surround yourself with positive, with inspirational, with potential-based messaging, then when the challenge comes, that's what you're going to be able to lean on. You're going to be able to say, listen, I'm a little bit scared right now, but I've got to move forward. I can do this. I can be better. I can do something amazing. I can transform. I can contribute. I can do great things, because that's the message that's in your head. I was watching this video yesterday about this little girl. She's about 3 years old. Her dad put a mic on her because he wanted to hear what she was saying as she was skiing down a hill. So she's skiing down the hill, and as she's skiing down the hill, she's saying to herself, "You can do it. Watch out, tree." And she's sharing these inspirational messages. She's self-talking all the way down this hill. 3 years old. She's self-talking all the way down this hill. And those are the messages that she's pulling on. Why is she pulling on those messages? Because those are the messages that she's surrounded by. Those are the messages that her parents shared with her. Those are the messages that she knows and she hears and she can grab from. So if you want to be able to be successful, if you want to be able to be to be someone that completes, that achieves, that accomplishes, then you've got to surround yourself with that type of messaging. Yeah, there is something to affirmations, right? You've got to surround yourself with that type of messaging so that when the challenges happen, that's what your mind has to pull from. That's what your brain has to pull from. All right. So that's all I wanted to share this morning. Listen, let's hang out together in the Storytellers Growth Lab. If you haven't seen it or heard it just yet, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be launching a podcast called the What's My Story podcast. And in that podcast, here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be interviewing people and sharing with you pivotal moments in their lives that help them to move forward to this place, the place of success that they are right now. So as a matter of fact, I believe that you can already go to hear the trailer there. Let me see if I can put this up for you. I believe you can go to What's My Story. Let me see if I can put this up. Pod.com. Yeah, let me see if we can do this. Yeah. All right. So you can go to what'smystorypod.com. Let me actually double check it and make sure that's the right site for you. Yeah. Let's see if we can get this. Nope, that's the wrong one. Haha. Yep. That's the wrong site, but you know what? I'm going to get it for you. So let me take that off screen so you don't go there. All right. Let me make sure that, What's My Story podcast. Here it is. Okay, I got, let me get the right one to you. All right, here's what it is. It is www. Oops, wrong place. It's www.whatsmystorypodcast.live. There we go. That's what it is. All right. So yeah, check it out. What's My Story Podcast.live. You can check out the audio trailer there, so you can learn a little bit more about what the podcast will be about. Again, we're launching that on April 5th. It's going to be every Monday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time. Whoever made up the daylight and the standard, I get it mixed up. Yeah, I don't know which is which. Yeah, but if you're on the East Coast, it's whatever time your watch says, 1:30. Okay, so we're gonna start out. Pam Perry is gonna be our first guest on that podcast. It's gonna be live and it's gonna be on video. It'll be here. It'll be on LinkedIn. It's gonna be on Facebook, and it'll be on the YouTube channel RK3 TV. Okay, so I just want to share that with you. What's My Story Podcast.live. You can listen to it there, but you'll be hearing more information about that in the next couple of weeks as well. Listen, have an awesome rest of your week. Have an awesome Monday. Do not forget to do something that you're not ready for, right? Do something you aren't a little ready to do, if that makes sense to you, and make sure that you grow for the rest of this week. All right. That's all I wanted to share with you today. Have a fabulous, phenomenal rest of your week. Peace, y'all.